Okay, chapter 3, hold steady. So this is a technique. This isn't even a chapter. This is a technique. And if you learn this technique, you're going to find that you don't have to think about holding the camera steady. You don't even got to think about where you're aiming the camera because the camera's always aiming back at you. And you see my wife here demonstrating this technique: locked elbow, locked shoulder, and a good solid grip on the phone so that the phone is always looking back down your arm back at you. This is something that's worth the time to practice. Don't say, hey, I saw the slide, I got it. Get your phone out, walk around the lot. And did I say walk around the lot there? Like I'm from Boston. Walk around the lot there like a regular person would, but have that phone out like a weirdo, looking back at yourself until this is third-party natural stuff that you're not even thinking about. The more you're not thinking about videoing yourself, the more you can focus on being entertaining. And that's the point of making the video, right? So first thing, move slow. Don't be in a rush. That one seems obvious, but most small movements, fine. You can move left, you can move right, but what videos don't like is jerks and sudden changes of direction. Slow is steady and steady is smooth. So filming is like standing or walking with a hot coffee. If you've ever tried this, if you hold the coffee close to your body, like, oh man, I don't want to spill this coffee, it'll slosh everywhere. But take a cup of coffee and hold it as far away from your body as you can, and notice that it almost doesn't slosh at all. You can, almost sprint across the showroom floor with it and it won't slosh. If you hold it close, everything that happens to your hips gets imparted onto that cup of coffee. Well, the camera's the exact same way. You got to take this part seriously. This is I spend more time correcting people and coaching on this particular thing than any other one thing. You have to hold the camera imagine it, that I'm trying to hold this camera as far away from my body as I can. Not the comfortable amount, not reasonably far away, as far away as I can. Extend your elbow, extend your shoulder, and you're going to find that when you do that, you've taken your arm and created a selfie stick that's in your hands at all times. And that's the important part. No one's carrying a selfie stick around with them all day. And I honestly think that this looks better anyways when you get the technique down. So once you're doing that and you're looking back at yourself, or if you're filming someone else, this is just a very quick tip. Rather than try to manage the entire frame, manage that space above and to the left of your head if you're looking back at yourself, or at their head if you're filming some other subject. This is the simplest way to make videos that don't shake and don't chase the subject all over the frame. Who cares what's happening on the bottom side of the frame? Who cares what happens on the right side of the frame? If you've got your subject's face in focus and pinned into those two average distances in the top left part of the frame, or if they're on the right side of the frame, on the right side of the frame. But if you just manage those two edges, you're going to have a much easier time with your eye than looking all over the frame and trying to play videographer the whole time. So just manage those edges. It'll make sort of operating a camera on the fly much, much easier. And again, if you get this technique down right, you don't even have to worry about managing the edges because the camera's always looking right back at you with a little space above your head and a little space to the side. So this is the technique. Now, this isn't the perfect example of it. If you'll notice, I did this to look good for the cover, but she doesn't have her arm slacked and she doesn't have her elbow slacked. So we're going to use this as an example of what not to do. This is what I think most people try to do, is just sort of hold it out there generally, which can look okay, but you want it to be as far away from you, both so that you're in the frame more tightly and you're not cropping your own face as you move around, but also just so that it's still and there's no shake and that you don't have to think, should I aim left? Should I aim up? Should I aim right? You're just holding it out there like a satellite that's following you. And when you practice this technique, it allows you to sort of gesture off to the other side of the frame with your free hand and walk around the lot and show people things, different cars, different trims. It allows you to do something with the video other than just talk. So it's a really important technique that's worth the time to practice. So one of the jokes that we came up with here is that if you imagine when you fire a bow and arrow, you extend that arm, you lock that shoulder. But also one of the things is if you're firing a bow and arrow, and imagine this, and you're looking at your lead hand, you are looking to the left. So when you hold a camera for a selfie style version of this technique, what you want to have is that camera actually held to your left the way you would if you were shooting a bow and not out in front of you looking back at you. So imagine your shoulders pinned, and when you want to turn and talk to the customer, you're actually turning left with your head the way you would if you were preparing to shoot a bow and arrow. Okay, so both the locked arm and the turned head are the key to understanding how to use this technique. Fully extend your arm and look left at the customer and straight to look at other things, and you're going to find it super easy to create engaging videos that customers love, and they're easy to make. Can't beat that. See you over in chapter 4.